Long ago, after the Great Flood, the world was starting over. People multiplied, families grew, and communities began to form again. At that time, there was something very unique about humanity. Everyone spoke the same language. There were no misunderstandings, no translators, no barriers in communication. People could share ideas easily and work together without difficulty. As groups traveled and explored, they eventually found a wide, open plain, a perfect place to settle. Instead of spreading out across the earth as God had instructed, they decided to stay together in one place. This decision led to a powerful idea. The people said to one another, "Let's build a city for ourselves, and at the center of it, let's build a tower that reaches all the way to the heavens. This will make us famous and keep us from being scattered across the earth." They were excited. They learned how to bake bricks and use tar as mortar. With shared language and shared ambition, they worked quickly. Brick by brick, the city rose, and at its center, the tower grew taller every day, reaching toward the sky. From a human point of view, it looked like an incredible achievement, teamwork, creativity, and progress. But beneath the surface, something was going wrong. God saw the city and the tower rising from the earth. The problem wasn't technology, it wasn't hard work, and it wasn't creativity. The real problem was the heart behind it. The people were not building to honor God, they were building to make a name for themselves. They wanted security without God, greatness without humility, and unity without obedience. Their goal was not to trust God, it was to replace Him. God knew that if humanity continued down this path, their pride would grow unchecked. When people believe they are powerful enough on their own, they stop listening. And when they stop listening, they drift further and further away from God's purpose. So God chose to intervene, not with destruction, but with wisdom. God confused their language. Suddenly, the perfect communication they once shared was gone. A worker calling for bricks was misunderstood. Instructions turned into arguments. Simple tasks became impossible. Frustration spread across the building site. People who had worked side by side could no longer understand one another. The tower stopped rising. As confusion grew, groups naturally separated, each group made up of people who could still understand one another. Slowly, they began to move away from the city, traveling to different lands and settling in different places. The city was called Babel, a name that sounds like the word for confusion. What humans tried to prevent, being scattered, happened anyway, and God's original plan for people to spread across the earth was fulfilled. The Tower of Babel was never finished, but its message still speaks today. This story is not about God being threatened by human achievement. It's about what happens when pride takes control of the human heart. The people at Babel believed their unity and strength made them unstoppable. They thought a tower could give them security and identity, but when that identity was built on pride, it couldn't stand. Babel reminds us that progress without humility can lead us away from God. At the same time, this story shows God's mercy. God did not destroy the people. He did not wipe them out. Instead, He gently redirected humanity, using confusion to bring about His greater purpose. Today, the world is filled with many languages, cultures, and nations. This diversity began at Babel. What once looked like a setback became part of God's plan to fill the earth. The story of Babel teaches us an important lesson. True greatness doesn't come from making a name for ourselves. It comes from trusting God, walking humbly, and following His guidance. When we put our pride aside and place God at the center, our lives are built on a foundation that truly lasts. And that is a tower worth building.